Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really big idea. It's a single theory that tries to connect philosophy, science, the continents of our planet, and even a world anthem all into one single system. Yeah, so let's get right into it.
It sounds a little out there, right? I mean, how could one single idea possibly tie all of those things together? A play for kids, geology, a global anthem? Well, that's the mystery we're going to unpack. And the whole story starts in a place you probably wouldn't expect. So, our journey actually starts with a children's play. It's called Happy Peace Day, and it was published way back in 2007. But according to the person who created it, this is no ordinary script. Nope, it's actually a research project with a much, much bigger purpose. Yeah, the goals for this play are pretty ambitious. It's supposed to help kids think creatively, but it also aims to teach something called scientific feelings. It's this idea about linking our emotions to a kind of rational, scientific way of thinking, which is a huge part of the whole theory. Ultimately, it's all about pushing for equality and getting kids to learn from their own experiences, not just from what they read in a textbook. Now, as you've probably guessed, this isn't really a story about a children's play. The play is just the first practical example of a much bigger, more foundational idea that's driving this entire thing. So let's get to the heart of it. And that core idea is called Philselfology. It's a pretty unique name, right? And it's the intellectual engine behind everything, from that play we just talked about all the way to models of the entire cosmos. Okay, so what does that word even mean? I mean, the name itself kind of gives you some clues, but the official definition makes its huge scope absolutely crystal clear. At its core, Philselfology is called a hypothesis of self-wisdom. The easiest way to think about it is like an attempt to build a bridge. You've got the big external ideas of philosophy and science on one side, and on the other, you have the personal, internal world of the self. Philselfology is the attempt to connect them all into one single unified framework for understanding, well, everything. And this is where things start to get really interesting. See, this theory isn't just some abstract thought experiment. Its creator applies it to some seriously diverse and, frankly, surprising fields, starting with the ground beneath our feet. So the first big application we see is something called the new Happy Earth Day model. It's a proposal for a totally new way to understand the geophysics of our planet, all based on the principles of Philselfology. So here's the breakdown of how this model sees our planet. It takes the 6 main continents and splits them into 2 groups of 3, an upper set and a lower set, divided by the equator. These 2 sets are then seen as opposite pairs that balance each other out. And in this view, the North and South poles aren't just dots on a globe. They're the critical balancing forces that keep this whole continental system stable. But it doesn't stop with just the Earth. You see, this whole model of continental balance is then used as a launchpad to make claims about the wider universe. The theory's ambition is to literally connect our planet to the stars. And get this, based on that Earth model, the theory makes a pretty wild leap. It suggests there might actually be 112 constellations in the universe. Now, that is a huge jump from the 88 that are officially recognized right now. While the source doesn't really explain the math behind it, it's a very bold claim that shows how this one framework is meant to stretch from geology right out into deep space. All right, so we've gone from the Earth to the cosmos. The theory then pivots again, this time into the world of culture. The next application of Philselfology is a proposal for a new anthem for the entire world. The proposed anthem isn't actually a new song. Instead, the theory points to a very specific sacred composition from all the way back in the 16th century, one written by the founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak. And the story behind this choice is pretty incredible. Yeah, the source material tells this amazing anecdote about the Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. According to the story, someone asked him why he hadn't written a world anthem himself, and Tagore supposedly replied that it had already been written by Guru Nanak. He then allegedly said it was an anthem not just for the world, but for the entire universe. Okay, so we've got a play, a new model of the Earth, and a proposed anthem for the world. The last piece of this massive puzzle is the author's ultimate vision. to put all of these ideas into one institution, a formal place for learning and research. This wasn't some idea that just appeared overnight. It has roots going back decades. The core concepts were presented way back in 1992. Then they were put into practice at youth scouting camps and later shared with the public in Washington, D.C. in 2009. And all of that history is pointing toward one giant end goal, creating a world R&D university built entirely around Philselfology. So when you put all the pieces together, what it all builds up to is the incredible ambition behind Philselfology. The goal is for it to become a kind of theory of everything, a single unified idea that you could apply to literally any subject, from physics to philosophy to education.
And that leaves us with one final, much bigger question. Whatever you think about Philosophy itself, its very existence points to this really deep human desire. What is it that drives us as thinkers, as scientists, as people, to keep searching for that one single elegant theory that explains it all? It's a quest that's just about as old as human thought itself.